Hello, friends. So today I want to talk about inner child work. I want to talk about what it is, what are the things that you do to do inner child work, and what is the outcome that you can expect. Okay, so that being said, let's dive in. The reason I want to talk about this topic today is because I think it was last week in the Thriver School of Transformation, which is a monthly membership where we meet live with people all over the world and we do the inner work of healing together. So if you're interested in learning a little bit more about that, make sure you check out the links in the description box below. But we were in one of our live meetings and somebody mentioned that they had been doing inner child work for years, and yet it wasn't until recently that they felt like they really understood exactly what they were doing and what they could expect of it. So it really got me thinking, like, everyone is familiar with that term, inner child work. Everyone's familiar with the term our inner child. But what exactly are we doing when we do inner child work? And that's what I want to discuss today. So there are a few very, very common things that people do that are part of inner child work. One of them is with their inner dialogue, using their inner dialogue as if they're talking to the pieces of themselves that are from the past. So, in other words, it's like seeing yourself in pieces, right? You are your adult self, but if you have trauma from the past, you still have pieces of your child self that can feel like they're kicked on, so to speak, right? It's almost like it comes alive in certain situations. And they use their inner dialogue from their logical mind to communicate to the emotional mind, or the adult self to the child self, however you want to call it. Or you could even call it they're communicating utilizing their conscious mind to their subconscious. So there's a few different ways to describe it, but it's using your inner dialogue to have this rapport, this communication. That's one way people do inner child work. Another way is through journaling. So sometimes they'll journal from their child self. They might write from their adult self with their dominant hand. And with their non dominant hand, they might answer whatever was written from their child self from their non dominant hand. That's another way of doing inner child work. Something else that you'll hear a lot when people are talking about inner child work, they'll talk about allowing yourself to play, allowing yourself to be silly, letting your inner child enjoy or come out, so to speak. So that's something. And then the last thing I'm going to mention, not that this is an all-inclusive list, but the last thing I'm going to mention that a lot of people do when they're engaging in inner child work is they will reparent. And by reparenting, they are taking care of their needs and nurturing their inner self. Okay, those are four common ways that people reparent. And when I was looking up information, those were ones that kept coming up often. Now, there are others, again, like I said, there are other ways to do it, but those are four that kept coming up over and over. And what I noticed with the information that was coming up is that there wasn't a lot of clarity as to the end result. Like, what exactly are you trying to achieve? Now, obviously, we're reconnecting with pieces of ourselves that we may have kind of stuffed in the shadow, right? We may have divorced from those pieces because of whatever we were undergoing. So we're reconnecting, and that's a wonderful thing. But for me, reparenting has to take a couple more steps for a person to really be able to experience lasting change. Okay. And it involves our subconscious mind. So when you're a child, right, and you are in those first 7 years of your life where your subconscious is forming your beliefs, it's forming your programs, the template of how you're going to view the world, how you're going to view yourself, what you're going to feel you're capable of, and everything in between. If you experienced trauma in childhood, or if you had parents that had addictions, or if you were raised in a narcissistic environment, then the programs, the subconscious programs that were installed, so to speak, are limiting programs. They are programs that reflect things like, I can't, I don't matter, I'm a failure, I'm scared. It's too hard. Life is too hard. Life is too scary. People are scary. Something bad is going to happen. Something is wrong with me. Those are the subconscious beliefs that are embedded in you if you had trauma in your childhood. So, as an adult, reparenting isn't just talking to that inner child, it's not just journaling. All of those things are excellent and wonderful. But we have to add uncovering what are the beliefs that weren't a part of your authentic self and that are limiting to your authentic self, that were embedded in your subconscious when you were younger. Because if we don't get to the beliefs in the subconscious mind, we're always going to feel like we're trying to go in one direction and our inner child's trying to go in the other. We're trying to go towards a future that is full of success and excitement and happiness. And our inner child is freaking out and is scared and is like, no, I want to stay put. I want to feel safe, and safe means not doing anything. So if we don't get these subconscious beliefs on board and we're doing inner child work in other ways, this is what you'll start to notice in your life. You'll start to notice that when you're doing these other things, you'll feel a slight shift forward. You'll be like, I'm doing something. I'm feeling a change. I'm feeling something different. But then suddenly you're back at square one again. And then you're experiencing change again. Then you're back at square one again. Then you're experiencing change and you're back at square one. You're going to feel like you're taking 2 steps forward and 3 steps back all the time. So the reason is you're doing inner child work that's doing things that are helpful, but it's not reaching deep enough into the subconscious programs to help your inner child. Well, this was your inner child? I can't remember. To help your inner child meet you and move towards your future together instead of like fighting each other back and forth. So, bottom line is you will know when you are doing inner child work that is going to help you to have lasting change when you start seeing that the patterns that keep you stuck are kind of little by little, they're like experiencing atrophy. So again, the key is to recover the pieces of yourself that are in the shadow, that have been divorced from you because of trauma, right? In order to stay safe, you had to stop being a certain way. And so we have to retrieve all the pieces of ourselves. Then we have to peel back the layers of our protective self, our coping skills, so we get to the beliefs that are running in our subconscious mind. And then we have to help our child mind to upgrade those beliefs to what your adult mind considers that upgraded belief. And that's when you start experiencing lasting change. Without the beliefs, without changing the beliefs, all of the changes are too superficial to allow you to have lasting change. So if you struggle with getting to those beliefs, you have to understand that our beliefs are not things that we overturn like that. We don't watch a video and suddenly have a complete change in belief. Our conscious mind might know, oh, that's a belief that I don't want. I want this belief. But the subconscious mind doesn't pick up and change overnight because it's a habit mind. So you have to be patient. You have to be consistent. And when you feel yourself going back a little bit, you got to dust yourself off and keep going. And with time, you will see those beliefs being upgraded. And when you do, it's pretty darn awesome because then you have your adult self and your child self working together.